Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. So I wanted to do a winners and losers for Season 14, you know, the kind of heroes that you should and shouldn't be playing as much of, but I've already seen other people covering it, and also really not a lot has changed. Or at least not around certain heroes, you know, Ana is still really good, Reinhardt's still really good. Symmetra might not be the best pick now, so there are heroes that have changed places from being good heroes to bad because of the recent balance changes, but today I really wanted to focus on 5 heroes that are just doing better than you think, to be honest. These are heroes that if you go to Overbuff and check the trends, you can see a significant difference in where they were at the start of Season 13 and where they are now. Because heroes like Reinhardt, Zarya, D.Va, Zenyatta haven't gone anywhere, their pick rate is still as good as it was beforehand, so really there's no point talking about them here. Before we get started, let's play a bit of a game. In the comments below, do comment the heroes that you think are a lot better than they were in Season 13, just over time they've got better, or because they had recent balance changes. But the first hero that I want to go over was from the latter category I just mentioned, that being Roadhog. Roadhog did get some buffs recently, but it was around the time of the 14th of November where Roadhog started to shine. This is where Roadhog's spread randomization was reduced by 50%, his hook play was a lot faster paced, you could pull people in quicker, and the cooldown on the hook is a lot quicker too. And as you're seeing, you can see exactly when that patch came into play, but what's really important to highlight is that it stayed consistently up where it was beforehand. If we say, for example, look at Torbjorn, we can see when the rework came in for him, but over time, his pick rate has just gone down to what it used to be before the rework, right? So that tends to be what happens when a lot of heroes get changes. People try them out, and they go, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, and then they stop playing him after a certain amount of time. But the fact that Roadhog is still up with the pick rate that he has already, and maintained a plus 50% win rate, means that these changes have gone well, and Roadhog has been picked a lot more often. That's also a big deal considering how tank heavy the meta is currently, with stuff like Goats Comp and Reinhardt Zarya, that Roadhog kind of struggled to an extent. So the fact that he's doing a lot better and is consistently a good option definitely needs to be highlighted. His pick rate isn't as good as D.Va or Zarya, in fact it's quite far behind to be fair, but it's better than Winston, Wrecking Ball and Orisa. Speaking of which, I did want to highlight Orisa in this video. She has a pretty incredible win rate on 52%, and her pick rate for the start of this season is the best that it's been in around 3 months. So a season and a half. You can see it on screen that it's not a big rise, but it is gradual and consistent, and no doubt this is because Orisa is good where she's situational. She's in the best state that she's ever been in, and now that Roadhog's back, you have that synergy between the whole hook combo that hasn't been in the game for quite some time. Again, I'd be lying to say that she is a really good hero that you need to be playing her right away, but I think it's quite surprising looking at her pick rate on how it's going into the positive, at a time where Goats Comp is just so prominent that I honestly believe that we will be seeing it in Season 2 of the Overwatch League, which is only like 40 days away. Who knows, maybe Blizzard are going to put some big changes into Goats Comp, in which case I can see Orisa and Roadhog coming back in a big fashion. When it comes to the tanks, this is how they look. It tends to be fairly straightforward. Reinhardt, Zarya, D.Va, the tanks that use the Goats Comp, being played a lot more than the others below. Orisa has the lowest pick rate, but it is rising, and her win rate is the best as you're seeing in comparison to the other main tanks. In the right hands and in the right spot, Orisa is a really good pick. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Next up is the supports and Moira. Moira is a hero that I feel gets often overlooked. She was the star girl in a Goats Comp, for example. She was the main healer. Back in the day when Goats Comp was being used for the first time, her main job was to keep everybody alive, get coalescence early, and win the fight from there. However, over time, Moira's spot in that composition has been contested by Ana, but most importantly Zenyatta. The Discord Orb on tanks can shred them. You have Transcendence, which is a great ultimate. Moira really struggles to keep up with that aggressive utility coming out of both Ana and Zenyatta. So Moira, to an extent, has struggled, but she's still pretty good. And even then, looking at her pick rate across all of the tiers, by the way, this isn't just like Grandmaster, we're not looking at what the pros are doing. This is on average with everyone. You can still see that there's a nice lip that Moira is having at the start of Season 14. She's a hero when you look at the pick rate of all of the supports, she is in second place in front of like heroes like Mercy, Zenyatta and Lucio, but I feel especially in the higher tiers, she doesn't get played a lot. She's always sort of been the second or third most popular support in Overwatch, competitive at least, But the thing that I wanted to highlight is this little lip at the start of Season 14. It seems that now is the best time to be playing Moira if you're looking at current trends. This might drop, you know, like 2 times in the next 2 weeks, for example, but I really wanted to use this opportunity to highlight that she is a good hero. Me as a support player now that I've been playing a lot of Zen and Ana, I personally really need to fall back onto Moira when you're being overrun by, say, a good Genji, or used to be a good Doomfist, right? Or a Sombra, those kind of heroes that can really pick apart your team. And if you're not a well-seasoned or confident, I suppose, Ana or Zenyatta, you're going to get torn apart. So it's okay to go back and rely on Moira in those situations, but also if you need that amazing healing power, just a little bit more damage with your right click and your damage orbs, Moira might be a better suit. She is still a popular hero. It's not like the other heroes that we've gone over that have been somewhat less common. But I did want to sort of talk about Moira and say, we should be playing her more. I think a lot of people really dislike playing her for some reason. I'll be really interested to see what you guys have to say about that in the comments below. But yeah, play more Moira. She's good. Going over the other supports, I do want to highlight some good news for Mercy players. Things are looking up. Much like Moira, you can see a little bit of a lip at the start of Season 14. Season 13 was a bit quiet. You can see again where the patch came through with her change, meaning that she can heal up to 60 health per second instead of 50 whilst she's ulting. This spike around October time, I can't remember what that was off the top of my head, but Mercy's popularity seems to be going up across all of the tiers. It might just be a start of season thing, but we haven't really seen that at the start of Season 13 as you can see on screen, so it's kind of interesting that both Mercy and Moira have been played a lot more. But as I said, looking at Zen and Ana, their pick rate hasn't really changed much at all. It stayed around the same, so good news for Mercy players. I understand that a lot of players think that she's still quite boring and not much of a challenge to play in some cases, I guess, but we're starting to see some positive trends for Mercy, at least for the first time in almost a year, I suppose. And the final support also to go over is Lucio. Mercy and Lucio, I believe, are 3rd and 4th in popularity when it comes to the supports, so they're not too far down. And Lucio doesn't really have like a very positive trended lip like Moira and Mercy have, but you can see over Season 13 just how he is going up in popularity. And again, one of those heroes that I feel, because players don't seem to think that he's challenging or good in the right cases, that Lucio tends to be thrown to the wayside. And I've been playing a lot, if you've been noticing the gameplay, I've been playing a lot of Lucio, especially in Season 13, having a lot of fun, being able to talk to people like Funny Astro and ask him questions basically at any point. Certainly did influence that. Just having such a big ultimate like Sound Barrier, the ability to really peel for your other support, which I feel is an aspect of the game that people understand, but they just don't really do an awful lot of the time. So no doubt there'll be some Lucio gameplay on in the background, or D.Va. That's basically the only 2 heroes that I seem to play at the moment other than Zen and Ana, but I really think that Lucio has a lot of hidden depth. And I think certainly if you're looking to grow as a player and improve and also climb, Lucio really isn't a bad shout. Like, I really think that you can do a lot with him, and the trend seems to be going that way too. So for the supports, Moira, Mercy and Lucio tend to be going up, but Ana and Zen are still pretty good picks, consistent. Brigitte is having a bit of an iffy time at the moment, but I'm sure we'll cover that another day. Now we go over the DPS, and I really want to highlight Genji. Not the most positive trend that we've seen, a bit wishy-washy up and down as Genji has gone through the season, but again, the lip at the start of Season 14 gives us a good indication that Genji is in a good spot yet again. The best it's ever been if you're looking at actual percentage points, but as you've seen on screen, it goes up and down. It might drop significantly next time this season, but the win rate also, as you've seen in Season 14, has gone up like by 4%, so that's a pretty big jump for Genji. Raises the question why. Well, I feel Ghost Comp is on its way out a little bit, and I think especially with Brigitte not as popular as she used to be, Genji's kind of like that guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame that's caged up and is now like, I'm free, I'm free. That's basically Genji right now. He has the freedom to move around, to get to the backline and get picks, and especially since Doomfist has also had a little bit of a tumble, people are just moving back to Genji. It's not as significant as heroes like Roadhog that we've seen, like Mercy, Moira and Lucio, but it's still pretty good for the hero. It's the only one that we've seen a real big jump in win rate for. And if you're already good at him, I know I'm not, you should definitely pick him up more for Season 14. And finally, Bastion. More to just look at his pick right here. Granted, it was the end of Season 13 where he was at his most popular, and unlike all of the other heroes, his popularity has gone down at the start of Season 14. Speaking to Colour Bastion, you really get a good idea on the effectiveness of this hero in the right hands. His pick rate's gone up, and it seems to be rising and rising as the season went on. What tends to happen is you have the peak of a hero's popularity being when the new changes come out, but I think people are really really sleeping on the recent stuff that's happened for Bastion. Seems a much more well-rounded hero, and if the enemy team tend to run Goats comp, you know what you can bring out to do a lot of damage. I'm honestly super hyped to see Bastion on a list of heroes that you should be playing more often. We've been doing Overwatch for 3 years, and it's nice to see that Bastion is getting his time in the light, so don't squander it. If you want to play more Bastion, play him. Just don't play him all the time and, you know, be in voice and try and communicate. Get the most out of it. But there's the 7 heroes that are doing a lot better than you may think, and tend to be going into Season 14 with a lot of positive energy heading their way. Either with their pick rate going up, their win rate, or just Bastion. Really, that's the other way you can describe him. But hopefully you did enjoy this video, shedding some light on heroes that, you know, we could talk about. Reinhardt's still good, Anna's still good, Zenyatta's still good, but these are heroes that have really started to break the trend. Next time I do want to talk about the heroes that have really fallen out of grace, some of which you could guess fairly easily, but there is one in particular that I do want to mention some other time. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know your heroes of choice for Season 14. I'll be playing more Lucia, Zenyatta, bit of Anna when I'm feeling a bit more brave, and of course Devo when I can. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you next time.